the grand spectacle of the circus, a timeless institution that has captivated audiences for centuries. But behind the dazzling lights and twirling acrobats lies a complex tale of transformation and controversy. From its humble origins as a traveling spectacle to its complex shows defying the impossible, the circus has always been a place of wonder and enchantment. However, as society has evolved, so have ideas and regulations on the treatment of human and animal entertainers. With the spotlight shining brighter and brighter on issues of animal welfare and ethical treatment, the shadows lurking behind the curtain can no longer be ignored. The stories of exploitation and abuse that have tarnished its reputation. As the circus grapples with its reputation, new forms of entertainment emerge to take its place in the hearts and minds of audiences worldwide. From awe-inspiring Circus Olay performances to daring feats of extreme sports, the spirit of the circus has had to adapt for a new generation. Although at one time they were a primary destination for family outings, circuses have declined in popularity because of the increase in alternate forms of entertainment, as well as public backlash against animal abuse, resulting in circuses focused mainly on human talent.
Okay, we're starting our unit on circuses today. Are we excited? Claire, what's the origins of the name circus?
Circle?
You are a genius, Claire. So we're going to start a unit, and I'm so excited because guess what? For the first time ever, you're going to see a movie about circuses. So let's go to the technology, and hopefully I can figure out how this works. And hopefully we get this to work. And you can all complete the questions while doing this and write a 5-page essay at the end of this. Okay.
Welcome to the show about the history of the greatest show on earth. Today we'll be journeying through different circuses throughout time. Circuses first began to emerge with roots as far back as ancient civilizations, but their popularity in America began right before the start of the Civil War. Soldiers and civilians would attend circuses or menagerie performances featuring human oddities such as unusually large or small people like General Tom Thumb with the Barnum and Bailey Circus or the Bearded Lady. These oddities provided the North and South an entertainment outlet in times of tension. The Civil War era came with major transportation industrialization, creating railroads across the United States to transport troops, but they were quickly used to make circus travel even easier. Let's meet Calvin, a Civil War soldier from the Union.
It's been such a long day of travel, but I'm thankful that the Civil War has made trains more popular. Now we're able to take over the Confederates even faster. Oh, I think another troop is rolling in now. Well, that is not another troop. What are they doing here? Is that household name, highly acclaimed clown, singer, animal trainer, jockey, and future presidential candidate Dan Rice?
Yes, 'tis I, Dan Rice, and my horse for my one-horse circus.
Like the circus? I've always wanted to go to one of those.
So come watch, but we'll only be in town for a little while. We're heading south soon.
You're so famous now that you're performing everywhere in the US. Be honest, how much are you making? Wait, before you tell me, answer this one question. Which side of the war are you on? Or are you a spy?
Whoa. Hold your horses. So I'm not a spy, and even though Cincinnati Border Patrol says that I'm often arrested and reported for sedition and resistance, I don't resist ever, and that's all just a lie. Like, I am suspected of it a lot, and that's why a lot of people think I am a spy, but that's just not true. I also don't have a single side in the war. North, south, I don't really care either way, as long as I'm making my money, if I'm being really honest with you. And people just don't seem to really be able to wrap their heads around that. And also, just between you and me, I make about like $1,000 a week, which will be about like $500,000 in the year 2024.
That's a lot of money. But what do you do with all of it?
Well, I plan to build the first ever monument dedicated to people who died in the war. I also plan to donate a ton of money to both the North and the South in order to rebuild.
You seem like a good person, and your show seems like family fun for all. I have a wife and kids back home. Maybe I'll bring them next time the circus is in town.
Please do. I really encourage families to come to my shows. It's really important because you'll never see anything like it ever again. And on top of that, I've started going by my nickname Old Uncle Dan in order to better appeal to young families like yourselves.
Thank you so much for stopping by and talking to me.
I'll let you go now. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, hit the notification bell, sign up for my Patreon, and donate to my Venmo so I can pay rent. Miss Murphy? Miss Murphy?
Hello?
Hello?
What?
The video ended
What video?
about the circus.
Oh yeah.
So, is there a new one?
Yes, let's watch the next episode.
Okay.
The circus. When you hear that word, images such as clowns and trapeze probably spring to mind, but you can never forget the animals, the towering elephants and fearsome lions that draw visitors in with their uncommon presence. As early as the 18th century, there were animals included in the circus. The traditional circus image would not be complete without performing animals, and Ringling's Menagerie has for years been considered one of the outstanding exhibits of the world's animals in the United States. But this isn't a happy story of animals finding a home. Come take a walk with me through Ringling Barnum and Bailey Circus history.
Here we are at the very docks where elephants were transported after being stolen from the Sri Lankan coast. They were forced in the hold of a ship where they had to travel on a 4-month journey with no room to move about, no freedom, no fresh air. And this was only the beginning of their tragic lives in the US. Once they were here, PETA reports that they were sometimes chained to concrete floors for anywhere from 36 hours to 100 hours straight. Now, obviously elephants weren't happy with their newly restricted freedom, and circuses such as Barnum and Bailey had to use things such as the burning method to keep them submissive and to train them. The burning method involved sticking a burning hot poker up the elephants' trunks, and they also used things called bull hooks, which were long, sharp metal prods that they used to hit the elephants. For only $19.99, you too can own your own bull hook. Perfect toy for your children. Even the Ringling Brothers and the Barnum and Bailey Circus near you use it. Now sold in 9 different colors: red, orange, green, yellow, blue, purple, silver, gold, and polka dot.
Action.
Wow, that ad was not true at all. The elephants were attacked with bull hooks in order to make them comply with their trainers. They were forced into unnatural positions like standing on their hind legs or balancing a beach ball on their trunks. And this method of control didn't die out. From the very beginnings of the Barnum and Bailey Circus, the bull hook was the main form of control over elephants, and it spread to other circuses throughout the nation, and is still a method used today.
And if you don't believe me, hear it from Nancy Rice. Let's go to our interview.
I was just telling the viewers about bull hooks, and I heard you have a connection with them.
Yes, that's true. In 2005, PETA sent me a bull hook, an actual bull hook. I brought it with me to the Legislative Office building, and we had a former elephant trainer who was going to testify at that hearing to how they actually harmed the animals. So when he went to speak, I handed him the bull hook, and the head of the Environment Committee said, "Wait a minute, let me see that." He said, "That's a weapon, and I'm going to confiscate it." The great thing was that he called it a weapon. Ringling says, "Oh no, we use it like a guide. It's just like a leash to your dog." This made the front page, and it was so excellent because he said that's a weapon, and it made the news. That was really big too. Someone who finally admitted it.
Okay. What did the protests look like? Would you say they were peaceful? Were there a lot of people?
They're always nonviolent. If we're talking about Ringling, the first year we had 130 people at the protest. The next year it was a little bit less. We would go all stand in front of what used to be Harbor Yard, and the police would give us a hard time, and they would try to move us far away from the public as possible. It just so happens that one of the activists is an attorney. He was like, "They're violating our First Amendment rights, and we have a right to be here. The public should be able to see us. We should be able to hand them something." But we've always been peaceful. We've always promoted peace.
In 2017, Barnum and Bailey and the Ringling Brothers retired elephants from their circus. Do you believe protesting was one of the main factors in the retirement of the animals?
I think it was a main thing. We were all connected, so I knew people in California that got video footage. So people were connected, and I knew the trainers' names and different units. Knowing what you're talking about is always helpful too, because if you say something that's not accurate, they can always point to that and say you don't know what you're talking about. We try to know that what we're saying is true and accurate.
What are your feelings and knowledge on animal rights acts such as the Animal Welfare Act and their success?
So the Animal Welfare Act doesn't really cover animals' rights. It will protect some animals to some degree, but it is also really hard to get whoever to enforce it. So like when the circus would come to Bridgeport, if you call it animal control, they can't necessarily do anything about it. So you'd have to get the Department of Agriculture to come down at that moment. So the laws aren't that great, but they're also hard to enforce. So there have been times, and I'm talking years ago, when someone would find a violation of the Animal Welfare Act. Certain times they're able to file a complaint or say that they violated the AWA, but it's so few and far in between. They don't have a lot of investigators to come out, so that I don't really think it's effective. But if you ever do get a violation, you can say, it's hard to even get a violation, but at least we got this. So it does carry some weight. Thank you for your time.
The animal rights movement gained popularity in the 1960s and 70s while social movements across the nation were flourishing. Protests against the Vietnam War were attracting thousands upon thousands of supporters, the civil rights movement was in its prime, and each movement was constantly adapting. The civil rights movement led to protests for women's rights, which then led to protests for animal rights. People wanted to get on the bandwagon of protesting, and animal rights gave them that opportunity. In 1975, Peter Singer, a philosopher, released Animal Liberation, which was crucial in guiding the movement and bringing awareness to it. He considered speciesism as equal discrimination to racism and sexism, which many civil rights groups rejected and thought it minimized their struggles. Despite this divide, the animal rights movement continued to grow and remains prevalent today.
Get your animal crackers today. Now on sale at a store near you. I heard if you go to Schweitzer's Pharmacy, Miss Murphy's Uncle Jerry, he can hook you up with a free box and some tickets. Please come to our circus. Also, as you can see, our packaging, brand new, no more cages, to represent how we don't keep our animals in cages for more than 24 hours anymore. There's slightly less more animal abuse in the circus now, so I feel like you guys should really be coming to the shows. Look at Aspen.
Aspen. Aspen.
Just think about how nostalgic animal crackers are for your childhood. You wouldn't want your child going without animal crackers now, would you? So please, come to our circus.
Action!
After 36 years, PETA was finally able to convict Ringling Bros. Barnum and Bailey Circus of abuse of their elephants. In 2016, the circus stated they would remove all elephants by 2018, but due to public backlash, all elephants were dismissed by the end of 2016. And only 1 year later, in 2017, Ringling Brothers Circus was no longer running and completely out of business. While the controversy surrounding animal abuse was the main cause of the decline of big-name circuses like Barnum and Bailey and the Ringling Brothers, another prominent cause was the increase in other forms of entertainment. We set up a very scientific survey about this. Let's take a look at the results.
I'm watching a movie.
On my phone. Can I help you?
Searching for the new episode of Vanderpump.
Okay. And what are you doing right now?
Watching Everyone But You.
Popular movie, a sporting event.
The movie.
Okay. A sporting event. Yeah.
Definitely the sports game.
Sporting event.
Go to the movies.
Do you know anything about the circus? Have you ever been before?
I want to see animals. No, boring.
Okay, sporting events or
circus?
watch.
No, what's the circus?
So you've never been to a circus?
No, I've never been to a circus.
You don't see anything over here?
There's nothing out of the ordinary here.
What are you talking about?
Not the circus.
Circus.
Nothing? Nope, nothing. Okay,
Right here!
In addition to this in-person survey, we sent out a Google form to family, friends, and strangers around the school. In total, we received 23 responses to represent this demographic. Let's take a look at the results. Tied at 30.4%, most people said that they are most likely to look to YouTube or movies as a source of entertainment, which does not come as a surprise with its convenient accessibility. Tied for last with only one vote and 4.03% of the survey was circuses, showing that people in class with you right now don't prefer the circus and would rather support other forms of entertainment, posing the question of, do we really need circuses?
As you can see, people continuously prefer other forms of entertainment over the circus. As we already discussed, this wasn't always the case, but with the rise of new technologies utilized by video game, big movie companies, and sporting events, circuses couldn't keep up. Movies and video games are now being created with CGI so realistic, people can't tell what's real and fake, allowing for the impossible to become possible. Sports are now also being streamed everywhere possible, and they are becoming interactive with the rise in online gambling. Didn't we just learn about that? Anyways, although circuses were able to utilize technology like creating light shows and to add for dramatic effect, there wasn't much else for them to be able to invent while maintaining their nostalgic reputation. They were ultimately taken over by Feld Entertainment.
Did you just say Feld Entertainment?
Yes.
Like the one that used to own Ringling Bros, Barnum and Bailey Circus, and bought them in 1967 from the last living Ringling brother?
Exactly them. I assume you're familiar with them?
No, just a lucky yes.
Okay.
Of course I'm familiar with them!
Oh.
Come with me, let me go tell you about them.
Alright.
Alright, Feld Entertainment bought Ringling Bros, Barnum and Bailey Circus in 1967 for lots of money from the last living Ringling brother. Feld Entertainment was also in charge of many other entertainments you might have heard of, such as Disney on Ice, Disney Live, and also Monster Jam. And all of these entertainments cost money, obviously. And so also with the rise of these entertainments came movies and streaming services such as like Netflix, HBO Max, all that stuff. TV shows, sports, and most importantly, YouTube. And now we're letting that be for a second. And now, Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus. This circus cost a lot of money for Feld Entertainment to do. So, just the elephants alone cost $65,000 a year in care. They also took 60 railroad cars wherever they went. And do you know what 60 railroad cars is equal to? 120 semi-trucks filled with animals, performers, equipment, all of that. You know what also costs semi-trucks? Disney on Ice, Disney Live, Monster Jam, Disney on Ice specifically. Instead of the 120 semi-trucks, uses 12 semi-trucks. And that's important because transportation costs also went up 60% from 2012 to 2017. That's a lot of money. And now also, with the rise in YouTube, performances of the circus were now being posted there. So what does that mean? No need to see the circus anymore, right? No need. But it doesn't stop there. Feld Entertainment is still holding on because they're still getting some profit from the circus. But now, because of organizations like PETA, there's responses coming out that there's animal abuse occurring in these circuses. So now Feld Entertainment's dealing with a massive scandal about the animal abuse and the circus. And so now the circus is costing them all this money in transportation, all because of how many semi-trucks they use, how much money their transportation is, and elephants are. And now they have a scandal on top of this, and so that means that Feld Entertainment is cutting the circus off. They are getting rid of the circus. They are not dealing with the circus anymore because it is giving them negative profits. And so now Feld Entertainment is putting all of the money that they put into the circus into the rest of their entertainment businesses. And guess what? The rest of these are thriving now. So there's no need for them to have dealt with the circus, and they're better off without the circus.
Human performers in the past were frequently exploited for their culture. P.T. Barnum had an act called the Ethnological Congress, which would put people of different races on display. It would include props that were commonly associated with their culture, such as clothing or weapons. This led to a focus on exotic otherness that completely dehumanized performers. It made items of their culture seem more important than the people themselves. Current circuses, like Cirque du Soleil, focus on acrobatic skills and training rather than simply using cultural appropriation. While all signs thus far may seem to point to the circuses going completely out of business, successful smaller ones still remain, like Carson and Burns Circus and Circus World in Wisconsin. These circuses still exploit performing animals, and PETA continues to fight to get all animals out of the circus. But more popular nowadays are circuses around the world, such as Cirque du Soleil, which employs only humans with a focus on acrobatics. Cirque du Soleil has grown exponentially since its beginnings in 1984. It had financial support from the province of Quebec until it could become self-sufficient. It's known for being rich in spectacle and has a large campus to train recruits from around the world. Lastly, Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey made a comeback just last year. They now employ only humans with exceptional talents such as contortionists, trapeze, and their brand new robot dog named Bailey. While popularity between both companies has risen, the circuses will never see the popularity they once had in the 1900s because of new media at the tips of people's fingers. That's a wrap, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, smash that like button, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video, and sign up for my Patreon and check my Venmo, which is linked in my bio. Next week, we'll be learning about the wide world of circles. That's it. Go.
Good morning. We are going to start our unit today on circles.